So you'd think that because I just hauled a ton of books, I'd slow down the book buying. Wrong. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another book haul. They never seem to end because my book buying obsession never seems to end. Honestly, I have gotten much better at not buying books that I don't think I would enjoy or books from genres I don't read too much of. I've been buying a lot more books that I just feel are perfect for me as a reader, books by authors I've read from before, books by authors I think I would absolutely love. But yeah, I still bought way too many books. But I am very, very excited to share them with you. I'm very, very happy to have them. I don't know where I'm gonna put them because, as you can see behind me, space isn't my friend. Anyways, I'm just gonna get started. And the first book that I have to share is actually nonfiction, which if you know anything about me as a reader, you know I'm not big on nonfiction. But this is a book that I think is perfect for me. And I mentioned to a friend really wanting to read it, and that amazing friend sent me the book. Bailey, you are an incredible human being. If you are not subscribed to Bailey, I'll have her channel linked below. She is just the sweetest person alive. She also has really great taste in books, so I will link her below. But she sent me Tailor Made, Discover the Secret of Who God Created You to Be by Alex Seeley. And again, I'm not huge on nonfiction. I'm not really big on self-help books, but this does sound really, really good. Bailey has some amazing things to say about this book. And so it says, "You're an accident." Alex Seeley heard that message at an early age and it stuck. Unwanted became a label she wore for years. There were other labels too: stupid, ugly, foreigner, unsuccessful, infertile. By God's grace, however, those labels no longer define who Alex is or what she can be. Your labels don't have to define you either. If you've ever wondered what God was thinking when he made you, or if you've wrestled with those big questions, why am I here? What's my purpose? Then Tailor Made is for you. The powerful truths explored in these pages will help you recognize the wrong thinking and labels that can come from many different sources, like generational patterns, insecurities, difficult circumstances, unforgiveness, an inaccurate view of God, and more. You're not one size fits all. Reject that lie. Your designer knows you've been tailor-made. Knowing my own personal struggles, I do think this book would be very impactful, and I'm just so grateful to you, Bailey, for sending it to me. Yeah. This is the first book, and I'm so grateful for it. Next, we have some books by an author I haven't read from before, but they are fairy tale retellings, and the author is very beloved, and I think I would really enjoy these books. My friend was also getting rid of these books and asked if I wanted them, and I said, of course. So we have 3 Melanie Dickerson books, and I've never read Melanie Dickerson, but she does seem like an author I would really enjoy. The first book is The Huntress of Thornbeck Forest, and I'm not sure what series this is part of, or if it's a standalone. I have no idea. But yeah, we have this book, the first one. We also have The Beautiful Pretender, and we have The Noble Servant. And I actually owned this book for a while and never read it, and then I lost it. I think when my family moved, I have no idea where it ended up, so I now have it again. So this book, from what I know, is a retelling of The Goose Girl, and that's one of my favorite fairy tales, so I'm definitely really looking forward to this one. And this one I'm pretty sure is a standalone. And the inside also lists the other 2 books as part of the medieval fairy tale novels. So I'm pretty sure The Huntress of Thornbeck Forest is the first book, and then The Beautiful Pretender is the second one in the A Medieval Fairy Tale series. So this one says, a beautiful maiden who poaches to feed the poor, a handsome forester on a mission to catch her. Danger and love are about to unite in Thornbeck Forest. I'm not sure if this is a direct retelling of any fairy tale, but definitely sounds cute. And then this one says, after inheriting his title from his brother, the Margrave has 2 weeks to find a noble bride. What will happen when he learns that he has fallen for a lovely servant girl in disguise? That's all I'm going to read, because if this is the second book, I don't want to be spoiled for anything from the first book, but I'm really excited to have these Melanie Dickerson books, and yeah, I'm curious to see what I think about her writing. Next up, we have a book that I have been anticipating for months and months, since I knew it was going to come out later this year, and it finally came out, and that is The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. This is the second book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart duology, and I read the first book earlier this year. I'm pretty sure I only gave the first book 3 stars, but that's not to say I didn't enjoy it. I really did enjoy the reading process, and that's the thing about Stephanie's writing, is I always get so immersed in the world, and I just love the worlds that she creates. I especially love the Caraval trilogy, so I will definitely read anything that she publishes, anything she writes. And this is the sequel, so I'm not gonna read the summary. Really, really excited for this one because the first book kind of ended on a cliffhanger. So I do hope to get to this one soon, and this cover is also so beautiful. I love this, and the worlds that Stephanie Garber creates, I just find them so fascinating, and whoever designs the maps, I'm not sure if she does it herself, but they make them so beautiful. I don't know, it just makes the reading experience so much more fun. I love maps. Yeah, really, really excited for this book. So glad that I ended up getting it. Another anticipated release that has finally come out, and I'm so glad that I have it. That is The Bullet That Missed by Richard Osmond. This is the third Thursday Murder Club book. I read the first two books and loved them. They were so good. They're honestly some of the best cozy mysteries out there. But what I like is that they are cozy mysteries, but they have, I guess, darker themes in some ways, and the characters make the series for me. They're all in their 70s and they're just the sweetest people. They're so funny, so entertaining. Each character is so unique and brings something so special to the story, and like, yes, the mysteries are great, but I'm definitely there more for the characters, and oh, I love the series and I cannot wait to read this book. Maybe sometime this fall, if not during the winter, because I think wintertime is perfect for cozy mysteries. This one has to do with a cold case, which I think is really cool, and then like a current murder, and I'm just so excited. I'm so happy that I got this. This next book I ordered because my friend Bethany from Bethany Brings Books did a video about Christmas books. It was like a Christmas in July type of video, and I'll leave that linked below. It was a great video talking about different Christmas reads, and this is one of the books that she mentioned in her Christmas video, and I needed to get it because it just sounds so cute. And that is Five and Dime Christmas, 4 historical novellas, and the authors are all authors I've never heard of. So we have Suzanne, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, Patty Smith Hall, Cynthia Hickey, and Christina Lorenzen. Like I said, it's 4 Christmas novellas. So it says, Christmas is a time for romance at an 1880s department store. Visit Scranton, Pennsylvania in 1881, where the Woolworths Five and Dime has become the center of Christmas commerce and a great place to fall in love. I won't read the summary for each novella, but I will read the first one. It says, A Merry Little Christmas by Suzanne, can't say the last name. Woolworth store clerk Hattie Scott's heart is touched by a handsome customer, but when she takes on additional secretarial work to earn money for Christmas, she learns her new boss is Englishman Timothy Branson, her favorite customer, and a threat to her brother's job. Can 2 very proud hearts overcome their differences to help her brother and find love? Looks like a little enemies to lovers. I really like me some enemies to lovers. I like a lot of conflict, and you know, that sounds like something I'd really enjoy. So really excited for this. I'm not sure I'll read every single novella in this book during the Christmas season, but I like that I have some options, and I also really like this cover. I love anything to do with the 19th century, so really excited to have this. All right, next I have 2 big boxes from Book Outlet. I did a big Book Outlet order back in the summertime, and they just had a sale, so of course I had to buy a ton of books. I don't even remember what I bought, so we're just gonna open the boxes and see what is in here. I hate when this happens. Can't even open it properly. Don't you just love my box opening abilities? This is embarrassing. All right, so the first book I got is one that I've already read, but I don't own, and I loved this book when I read it, so I really wanted a copy because I definitely would consider rereading it in the future. That is The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. This is a dual timeline ghost story, not something I typically read, and I've talked before about why I like Simone St. James. I've only read one of her books, but if going off of this book, if she writes her other books in a similar way where you have dual timeline, it doesn't have to be dual timeline, but there is a ghost story element, but it tells a much deeper tale. It's not just about scaring the reader or just making the story horror for the sake of it being horror. It's definitely deeper than that, and she has some incredible themes, incredible characters. This book made me cry. 5 stars. I loved it so much, and I'm so glad that I have it now. This is about a journalist who actually goes and starts doing some research on this old boarding school from the 1950s, and then some sinister things start happening. And yeah, so you got the modern day timeline, and then you also have the 1950s timeline at this boarding school for girls. And it's very emotional, very good book. I would highly recommend. Earlier this year, I read To Steal a Heart by Jen Torano and overall really enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really funny and sweet, and it has a very fun kind of amateur sleuth duo in the book, and it was just really, really fun. So I ended up getting books 2 and 3. First, we have To Right a Wrong, and this is about a character from the first book that I thought was very, very interestingly portrayed. I'm not quite sure what the author was trying to convey with her character. She definitely came off as very socially awkward. Yeah, she was definitely an interesting character, and I do want to know more about her because she is an author, but she's also a secret author. So a lot of the characters in the book didn't know that she writes murder mystery stories, and she definitely has some very interesting things to say throughout the first book. So this is about that character. Her name is Daphne. I'm not going to spoil anything for the first book, but she is a mystery writer by day, inquiry agent by night. Known for her ability to puzzle out plots, she prefers working behind the scenes for the Bleecker Street Inquiry Agency, staying well away from danger. However, Daphne soon finds herself in the thick of an attempted murder case she's determined to solve. And then, of course, there is another male character, and I'm sure, you know, in Christian historical fiction, romance, fashion, there is some romance that blossoms. But yeah, I did really enjoy the first book, so definitely want to try this one out. And the third book is To Disguise the Truth. This is also about a character that I found very interesting in the first book. She came off as very standoffish and definitely has some secrets in her past. So out of these 2 books, I'm definitely the most excited for the third book, but I'll have to wait. I'll have to read book 2 first. And I won't read the back of this one because it might spoil the first book. So definitely really looking forward to these. I did really enjoy Jen Torano's writing in the first book. It did feel a little cliche at times, but that's kind of what I expect from a lot of Christian historical romances, but I'm still looking forward to these ones. I got another Julie Claussen book that I'm so excited for, and I've heard that this one is similar in tone to Agatha Christie, which, yes, please. I definitely need to read more books that kind of give me the same feelings that Agatha Christie mysteries do. And that is Shadows of Swanford Abbey. And this one says, Agatha Christie meets Jane Austen in this atmospheric Regency tale brimming with mystery, intrigue, and romance. When Miss Rebecca Lane returns to her home village after a few years away, her brother begs for a favor. Go to nearby Swanford Abbey and deliver his manuscript to an author staying there who could help get him published. Feeling responsible for her brother's desperate state, she reluctantly agrees. The medieval monastery turned Grand Hotel is rumored to be haunted. Once there, Rebecca begins noticing strange things, including a figure in a hooded black gown gliding silently through the abbey's cloisters. For all its renovations and veneer of luxury, the ancient foundations seem to echo with whispers of the past, including her own. For there she encounters Sir Frederick, magistrate, widower, and former neighbor who long ago broke her heart. When the famous author is found murdered in the abbey, Sir Frederick begins questioning staff and guests and quickly discovers that several people held grudges against the man, including Miss Lane and her brother. Haunted by a painful betrayal in his past, Sir Frederick searches for answers, but is torn between his growing feelings for Rebecca and his pursuit of the truth. For Miss Lane is clearly hiding something. That sounds really, really good. I really enjoyed Julie Claussen, and I can't wait to read this book. No way! This is an autographed copy. I did not realize that I bought an autographed copy of another Julie Claussen book. I got book 1 in the Tales from Ivy Hill series. This is The Innkeeper of Ivy Hill. I hauled book 3 in my previous haul, and then I decided to get book 1 as well. And I didn't even realize this was autographed. Aw, look at that. I love that. That makes me so happy. I'm absolutely obsessed with the covers of the Ivy Hill books. They have such a beautiful springtime cottagecore, I would say, kind of design to them. Oh, it's just so beautiful. That's where I want to live. That's the kind of place I want to live in. So this says, welcome to the English village of Ivy Hill, where friendships thrive, romance blossoms, and mysteries await. The lifeblood of the village of Ivy Hill is its coaching in The Bell. When the innkeeper suddenly dies, his genteel wife, Jane Bell, becomes the reluctant landlady. Jane has no idea how to manage a business, but with the town's livelihood at stake and a large loan due, she must quickly find a way to save the inn. Despite their strained relationship, Jane turns to her resentful mother-in-law, Thora, for help. Formerly mistress of the Bell, Thora is struggling to overcome her losses and find purpose for the future. As she works with Jane, 2 men from her past vie for her attention, but Thora has promised herself never to marry again. Will one of them convince her to embrace a second chance at love? As pressure mounts from the bank, Jane employs new methods and puzzles over the intentions of several men who seem to have a vested interest in the place, including a mysterious newcomer with secret plans of his own. With the help of friends, old and new, can Jane restore life to the inn and to her empty heart as well. This sounds very sweet, very classic feeling, which I absolutely love, and I'm really, really excited for this. This next book I am so excited about. I mean, I'm excited about all of them, but this one, I'm so excited. And that is The Lady of Galway, or Galway, I think sounds better. The Lady of Galway Manor by Jennifer Deibel. This is the second book in the duology. I think it's a duology. I won the first book in a giveaway. I have it right here, A Dance in Donegal. And I bought the second book, even though I haven't read the first book yet, and that's okay. I'm not going to read the back of this, but I know they are set in Ireland, I think in the 20s. Yes, so it is 1920 for this book. I'm not sure about the first book, but Ireland, it's one of my favorite settings for a book, and it's Christian historical fiction. I've heard nothing but praise for both of these books, and I can't wait to read them. I can't wait to read this duology. I need to get to A Dancing Donegal soon because I've only heard good things. And the last book in this box is this very bent book, The Moonlight School by Suzanne Woods Fisher. And I've, again, only heard amazing things. I forget who it was that recently talked about this book, but it was either in the comments of one of my videos or someone else's video. But yeah, I've only heard good things, and I'm pretty sure this is set in Appalachia. This book sounds really good. It says, haunted by personal tragedy, Lucy Wilson arrives in Rowan County, Kentucky in the spring of 1911 to assist her cousin Cora Wilson Stewart, superintendent of schools. A fish out of water, Lucy is appalled by the primitive conditions and intellectual poverty she encounters. Born in those very hills, Cora knows the twin plagues of illiteracy and poverty. So does brother Wyatt, a singing schoolmaster who travels through the hills. Involving Lucy and Wyatt, Cora hatches a plan to open the schoolhouses to adults on moonlit nights. The best way to combat poverty, she believes, is to eliminate illiteracy. But will the people come? As Lucy emerges from a life in the shadows, she finds purpose along with something else she hadn't expected, love. And then it also says that this is inspired by true events, which I really, really like. I really do enjoy stories where someone is coming from like the outside of an isolated village and then, or town or community, and then comes in and kind of helps with, you know, education and stuff. It gives me Christie vibes, and I just really, really enjoy that. So really looking forward to this read as well. All right, so that was the first box. Now let's open the second one. I can never open these boxes properly. All right, so from this box, first off, we have The Last Christmas in Paris by Hazel Gaynor and Heather Webb. And I first heard about this book, I think someone that I follow on Goodreads had read it, and I looked into it, and it just has such amazing reviews, and so many people seem to love this story. And it's Christmas. Of course, I need more Christmas books on my shelves. And so this says, when war pulled them apart, their worlds brought them together. Thomas Harding travels to the City of Lights, Paris, a packet of cherished letters in hand. Letters that tell a story of love and loss, friendship and family, and the innocent hopes of a generation devastated by war. As he reads the letters one more time, Tom is transported back to 1914 and the sunlit August day when Evie Elliott waves goodbye to him and her brother Will as they head to the Western Front. All believe the war will be over by Christmas when the trio plan to reunite and celebrate the holiday among the romantic cafes of Paris. But it is not to be. As months slip into years, Tom and Evie's lives become bound together by the letters and telegrams, notes and stories that travel between them, from the front line in France to a quiet suburb of London. But as their friendship flourishes, there is far more than words held between the pages of Tom's and Evie's letters. Now, decades later, Thomas finds himself once again in his beloved Paris, determined to fulfill a last promise and to lay to rest the ghosts of the past. But one final letter is waiting for him. I heard this is very, very emotional and just an all-around beautiful Christmas story. And I actually think this entire book is told in letters. It looks like every single chapter is a letter. So it's all an epistolary book, which I love. I've really, really come to love epistolary novels. But yeah, I'm so excited to read this. I might wait for Christmas, I might not. We'll see. Next, I got a book because I'm pretty sure it was Amanda who read it and loved it. And I think Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails as well. I'll link their channels below. And that is Where the Road Bends by Rachel Fordham. I've never read anything by her, but I've only heard good things about this book. And from what I know, it's Christian historical fiction as well. It says, as Nora King surveys her family land in Iowa in 1880, she's acutely aware that it is all she has left and will do anything in her power to save it, even if it means marrying a man she doesn't know. Days before her wedding, Nora discovers an injured man on her property. Her sense of duty compels her to take him in and nurse him back to health. Little does she realize just how much this act of kindness will complicate her life and threaten the future she's planned. Nora's care does more than aid Quincy Barnes' recovery. It awakens his heart to possibilities. Penniless and homeless, he knows the most honorable thing he can do is head on down the road and leave Nora to marry her intended. But walking away from the first person to believe in him proves much harder than he imagined. So yeah, I've heard this is very emotional, very, very well written, and I'm definitely intrigued. All right, so next we have Beauty by Robin McKinley. I've never read anything by Robin McKinley, but I've heard her fairy tale retellings are really, really good. And this one is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, my favorite fairy tale of all time, so I'm very, very excited, very intrigued. It says, Beauty has never liked her nickname. She's thin and awkward. It is her two sisters who are the beautiful ones. But what she lacks in appearance, she can perhaps make up for in courage. When her father comes home with a tale of an enchanted castle in the forest and the terrible promise he had to make to the beast who lives there, Beauty knows she must travel to the castle, a prisoner of her own free will. Her father insists that he will not let her go, but she responds, cannot a beast be tamed? And then it says, Robin McKinley's beloved telling of the classic fairy tale illuminates the unusual love story of a most unlikely couple, Beauty and the Beast. Can't wait to read this. So excited. Also a very cute cover, very whimsical, but yeah, really, really excited. This next book is a mystery novel that I'm so excited to read, and I'm pretty sure it was Janelle who talked about it, and if it was you, Janelle, thank you for mentioning it because it sounds really, really good, and it's set in India, which I love. I'm very, very interested in Indian culture, so we have Murder, I think it's in or at Old Bombay by Nev March. I'm assuming this was originally from Barnes & Noble, it ended up at Book Outlet, but really, really looking forward to reading this. It says, in 1892, Bombay is the center of British India. Nearby, Captain Jim Agnihotri lies in Pune Military Hospital recovering from a skirmish on the wild northern frontier, with little to do but reread the tales of his idol Sherlock Holmes and browse the daily papers. The case that catches Captain Jim's attention is being called the crime of the century. 2 women fell from the busy university clock tower in broad daylight. Moved by Addie, the widower of one of the victims, his certainty that his wife and sister did not commit suicide, Captain Jim approaches the Parsi family and is hired to investigate what happened that terrible afternoon. But in a land of divided loyalties, asking questions is dangerous. Captain Jim's investigation disturbs the shadows that seem to follow the Framjee family and triggers an ominous chain of events. And when lively Lady Diana Framjee joins the hunt for her sister's attackers, Captain Jim's heart isn't safe either. And then it says it's also based on a true story, which I find very, very interesting. So I'm wondering if that's like a murder that actually happened. And yeah, really, really intrigued, really excited to read this. It's a lot longer than I was expecting. I thought I would be getting a mass market paperback, but ended up getting a hardcover that's almost 400 pages. So really, really intrigued. Can't wait to try this author out, and I've never read a mystery set in India before, so really, really intrigued. I also got Lady Jane Disappears by Joanna Davidson Politano. I did just haul another book by her that I haven't read yet, but I honestly think that I would love her writing. She just seems perfect for me. So this one says, when Orally, I think is how it's pronounced, when Orally Harcourt's father dies suddenly, he leaves her just 2 things, his famous pen name, Nathaniel Drawle, and his wealthy family, who want very little to do with her. As Orally struggles to find a home with her father's family and learn the rules of society, she relishes in his parting gift, the beginning of his last story. The story she always wanted to hear about her mother's mysterious disappearance from the home where she now lives. To complete the novel, she'll have to extract clues from relatives and one enigmatic house guest who often seem reluctant to give them up. Lyndhurst Manor is a house built on secrets, and the arrival of Orally Harcourt might reveal them all. I've heard great things about this author's mysteries and really, really excited. She does write Christian historical mysteries, I'm pretty sure, so really, really curious to see what I'll think. Next is a middle grade novel that I've never heard anyone talk about. I haven't seen it anywhere, but it was on sale on Book Outlet, and then I looked a little bit into it, and it just sounds so sweet, and I am obsessed with the cover. It's so autumnal, and that is A Game of Fox and Squirrels, and just look at this cover. Oh my gosh. Is that not beautiful? Oh, I just love foxes so much. It's so cute. And like I said, this is middle grade. It says, after an incident shatters their family, 11-year-old Samantha Littlefield and her older sister Caitlin are sent to live in rural Oregon with an aunt they've never met. Sam wants nothing more than to go back to the way things were before she spoke up. When Aunt Vicky gives Sam a mysterious card game called A Game of Fox and Squirrels, Sam falls in love with the animal characters, especially the charming trickster fox Ashander. Then, one day, Ashander shows up in Sam's room and offers her an adventure and a promise. Find the golden acorn and Sam can have anything she desires. But the fox is hiding rules that Sam isn't prepared for, and her new home feels more welcoming than she'd ever expected. As Sam is swept up in the dangerous quest, the line between magic and reality grows thin. If she makes the wrong move, she'll lose far more than just a game. That sounds so good. I've heard that this book deals with mental health, especially in the preteen years, and I'm just very excited to read this. I need to read more middle grade, and yeah, can't wait to read this. Hopefully this fall. It's very autumnal by the cover, so fingers crossed. And then finally, we have Secrets of a Charmed Life by Susan Meissner. I have only heard good things about Susan Meissner. She is very well known in the historical fiction loving community, and I still haven't read any of her books. I do own The Last Year of the War by her and still have to read it, but I thought I'd pick this up as well as it was on sale. So this one is dual timeline. We first have present day Oxford, England, and then we have World War II in England. So present day Oxford, young American scholar Kendra Van Zandt, eager to pursue her vision of a perfect life, interviews Isabel McFarland just when the elderly woman is ready to give up secrets about the war she kept for decades, beginning with who she really is. What Kendra receives from Isabel is both a gift and a burden, one that will test her convictions and her heart. In the 1940s, as Hitler wages an unprecedented war against London's civilian population, more than 1 million children are evacuated to foster homes in the rural countryside. But even as 15-year-old Emmy Downtree and her much younger sister Julia find refuge in a charming Cotswold cottage, Emmy's burning ambition to return to the city, an apprentice with a fashion designer, pits her against Julia's profound need for her sister's presence. Acting as cross purposes, just as the Luftwaffe rains down its terrible destruction, the sisters are cruelly separated and their lives are transformed. That sounds so sad, but I've heard great things and I'm definitely really curious to see what I think about Susan Meissner as an author. Let me know which book you think I should read first, either Secrets of a Charmed Life or The Last Year of the War, because I'm not sure where to start. So now I have these two options. Please let me know what you think. So that is it for this video. Those are all the books that I have recently hauled. I appreciate you guys so much for watching. If you've read any of these books, please do let me know in the comments. I do like discussing the different books that I buy and hearing people's thoughts and feelings, even if they're negative feelings. I like to talk about them and just see how everyone feels about the different books that I buy. But again, that's it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in my next one. Bye!